Okay, now let's look at overlaying the action bar. And let me explain what the issue is, or demonstrate what the issue is. So I'm going to start with my regular Action Bar 2 app. And when I run this, and right now I only have the API 21 level emulator running. So this action bar at the top is actually covering part of the window. And in some applications, you want to be able to access the full drawable screen instead of just the part that's below the action bar. And let me go ahead and go to my app, resources, layout, activity main. And right now there's a text view in this activity main that just says hello world. I'm going to get rid of this and I'm going to create an image view instead. So I'm going to go ahead and set the layout width to be match parent and the layout height to also be match parent. And I'm going to set a background image to a drawable resource. And what I'm going to do, stick with me, you'll see what I'm going to do. So I'm just going to call this reef for now. And that should be everything I need for now. Now, I'm not going to put anything inside of an image view, so I can have a standalone tag here. And now for my drawable reef, I'm going to go to Google and search for ocean reef and go to images. And now I'm going to look for one that is roughly the same layout as my screen. So my screen is in portrait mode right now, so I'm going to look for a portrait image. And I could edit this myself. Okay, so let's go for this one. All right, so I'm going to view the image, and I'm going to right-click and save image as. And I'm going to go to my Android projects, Action Bar 2, app, source, main, resources, drawable. And I'm going to save this with the same name that I just used in my project, which is reef. And this one's a JPEG instead of a PNG, but it should work fine. So now I have a drawable reef. And let me go ahead and build. Oh, turned green by itself. Okay, so now when I launch my app, I should have an image in the background. And I do. But you'll notice that there's a white border around here, which comes from this relative layout with 16 dp padding, and that the top of the image is underneath the action bar. So let's go ahead and first make sure that the background image fills the entire display and not just the display underneath the action bar. That's what the overlay is going to do. So let's go to our tutorial and we'll see what the settings are for overlay mode. So to enable overlay mode, we want to style the action bar. For Android 2.1 and higher, all we're going to do is add a window action overlay of true to our theme. So let me grab both of these things, and I'm going to go to my styles file, and we need to know which, so the main activity screen is using app theme, which we can verify by looking in manifests, Android manifests. And if we look at the main activity, it doesn't have a theme specified, so it inherits the theme from the application, which is app theme. So app theme is the one that we want to change here. And I'm just going to go ahead and paste that in. So now my app theme is the standard light with dark action bar, plus it has a window action bar overlay set to true. Now if I run the app, you'll see that the full drawable area of the screen is filled with my reef picture. So now let's look at how to get rid of this action bar. And the way we're going to do that is through code. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have it so that every time somebody clicks on the background, it toggles the action bar. So if the action bar is showing and you click on the background, it's going to hide it. If you click on the background and it's hidden, it's going to show it. So the first thing I want to do is go back to my layout, and I want to attach an action to this image view so that when I click on it, something happens. So I'm going to say Android : on click, and then toggle action bar is what's going to get called. Now I have to define my toggle action bar. So I'm going to go to my code, Java, my main activity code, and I'm going to add a new method which is public called toggle action bar. Just put it here. So public void toggle action bar, and then when I click on the view, it's going to pass the view in as an argument. And now I have to press Alt plus Enter to import view. So the first thing I want to do is figure out whether the action bar is currently being shown or not. And what I'm going to do up here is, rather than getting the action bar every time I call this, I'm going to create a variable, actually a property on this class called member under action bar. And then in my create method, Alt plus Enter to import. So I want to maintain compatibility, so I can either import action bar from Android.app if I was in version, I don't know, 11 or 15, one of them, or maintain backwards compatibility, which is what I want to do here. So I'm going to maintain backward compatibility, and that's what causes me to get this support.v7 instead of android.app.actionbar. But what I'm going to do is, in my create handler, I'm going to initialize m under action bar to be equal to get support action bar. And that's all I need to do to get the action bar object in a compatible way. Now I have m under action bar set. I can say if m under action bar dot is showing. So this is going to return true if the action bar is showing and false otherwise. So if it's showing, I want to hide it. Else, it's not showing, so I want to show it. And that's all I need to do right now. Let's go ahead and see if it works. All right, so if I click, my action bar slides out and if I click again, it slides in. All right, so let's get rid of that border around the relative layout. So I'm just going to change all of these to 0 dps, which is in my dimensions resource. So let's go under values, dimensions. Now I have two of them for one for W820 dp and one for everybody else. So let's go set this to 0 dp and that to 0 dp, and we'll also set this to 0 dp. And now if we go to our activity main.xml, you should all be 0 dp now. So let's go ahead and see if I got everything. Good, so completely filled. And now just for fun, let's go ahead and add another button. So I want to have a fish in my ocean. And I'm going to go and find a fish. And what I want is a fish with a white background here. I like this goldfish. Well, parrotfish. I like the parrotfish. So I'm going to click on this parrotfish, view image. I'm going to save the image as. And then this one I'm going to want to do some editing on. So I'm going to go ahead, I'll save it as fish.png in my drawable folder. But then I'm going to open it as well. And I like to use the GNU image manipulation program, GIMP, to do my graphics editing. You can use pretty much anything that supports transparency. But I like GIMP because it's free. Oh, and this is already transparent. So this is pretty much everything I need already. If it hadn't been transparent, what I would have done is selected the background and added an alpha channel and erased it. But it is transparent, so I'm good. So let me get out of here. Now, to change the image that's being shown in the foreground, I can add an Android : source equal drawable fish, like so. And now if I run the app, actually let me exit the old one and start the new one. So now I have my fish inside the reef. Not great contrast. Okay. Now let's go ahead and add another button. So I'm going to go ahead and grab an eye icon. Okay, I would sort of like, yeah. So I'm going to save this image as well. And I'll call it i.png. Actually, ic under i.png. And then in my menu, I'm going to add an eye icon button. So this is going to be ID action show fish, and the drawable is ICI, and the title is Action Show Fish. And then I need a string. We'll call that okay. So now we should have a button. Okay, this is not very good because it's light against a dark background. So let's fix that. So I'm going to go to my drawable folder. And I'm going to right click on this ICI and edit it. Okay, well I don't want to use Paint for that. So I want Open with GIMP. And I'm going to select all, right click, layer, actually colors, invert. So I'm going to change the mode to indexed with a black and white palette. Okay, and then save that. Actually, I wanted to export, sorry. So I'm going to export, overwrite IC under I.png. And now let's try running it. Alright, so this is still not very pretty, but it's good enough for now. Now, when I click on this, what I want to do is I want to toggle the fish from on or off. So I'm going to go back to my JavaScript, I'm sorry, my Java at this point. And I'm going to add a couple of properties. So there's going to be an image view, and under image view, and Alt Enter. And at startup, I'm going to set m under image view equal to find view by ID r dot ID dot image view. And I haven't defined this yet, so let's go ahead and define that. That's going to be back in my activity main. So this is going to be the image view. So I'm going to add Android :ID equal, and then we want a resource that gets automatically created, ID image view. So that should be all we need there. Now this is going to return a view, and I want an image view, so I need to coerce it. And find view by ID. Okay, there we go. So this is going to find my image view and turn it into an image view and store it in this property every time it's created. And I'm also going to add a Boolean called m under fish showing, and that's going to be start out being true. Now, none of these things should be visible outside of my program, so it's good programming practice to make them private. I'm sorry, none of these are going to be visible outside of my class. So I'm going to make them private. And this also goes with the m under that I'm using as part of the variable name. So m under means this is a member variable or a private variable. And that just basically means that I can only look at or set the value of these variables from inside of my class. So now I actually want to toggle the fish when the person clicks on the I button. And so here are my actions for button clicks. Else, if ID is equal to r.id dot, and then action under show fish, I'm going to toggle fish. And then I have to declare a toggle fish method. This one can be private because it's only being called inside the class. It's not going to return any values. And it doesn't take any arguments. So what I'm going to do is basically, if the fish is showing, I'm going to hide it. And if the fish is visible, or if the fish is hidden, I'm going to show it. So if m under fish showing, then I'm going to set m under fish showing to false, and I'm going to hide it. And the way I'm going to hide it is, if you look at the documentation for ImageView, you'll see that all of these XML attributes are also settable. So when we created the ImageView, we set the image source, the Android source, to be our fish image. And so to hide it, we can call set image resource and pass in 0. So that's going to clear out the fish image. So m under ImageView dot set image resource 0 will make the fish go away. Else, the fish is not showing, so we want to show the fish, and we want to set the ImageView image resource to be r.drawable dot, what do we call it? Fish, like so. So let's go ahead and try this out. All right, so if I click on the eye, so we missed the first couple of clicks for some reason. I think we want to set the fish image initially using code here. So I'm going to say m under ImageView dot set image resource to r dot drawable dot fish, and this has to do with draw caching and things that are complicated. For now, let's just see if it works. All right, so there it goes. So I can click on the eye to show or hide the fish. I can click on the background to show or hide the action bar. And that's our completed program.